Hello, good evening, and you're welcome to another edition of Sports Ultras here on QFM 92.7. My name is Theo and thank you very much for joining us. When I say us, I mean the entire gang. And that's Yao Fosulabi, who is here with us in the studio. Yao, good evening.
Good evening, bro. How are you doing? I'm fine.
Yeah, with a mustache. If you want to see Yao's legendary mustache, please go on Facebook and join us on the Facebook Live that we are bringing you via the 3FM 92.7 platform. And also Aniela Alote. Anye?
Sergeant Lee.
Who is Sergeant Lee?
That's Sergeant Lee.
Oh, that's Sergeant Lee.
Yeah.
You mean
It's just left for him to sit down and drink some tea.
Oh, the Sergeant Lee's the drink tea, eh?
No, it's the lyric. Oh, you know the song. No, okay. It's okay. Yes. Anyway, I'm feeling 5 alive.
You're feeling?
5 alive.
5 alive. Explain that.
Oh, you find out as we get into the conversation.
Oh.
Today, I feel Moroccan.
You feel Moroccan. 5 alive. Oh, okay. Now I get it. Now I get the picture. Kelvin Osuansan is also here with us. Kelvin.
Mr. Nyan.
Yeah. You're looking like Sarkodie with your big white shirt.
Charlie, don't try.
Is anybody writing a book about you?
No. We came with the no try me mantra.
Oh, no try me.
Yeah.
Not try me.
Yeah.
But no try me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Oreku.
Yeah, Thierry.
Did you come with a mantra? There is Sergeant Lee, there is 5 alive, there is no try me.
Oh, me, I'm unavailable.
Then you go see you in the baby.
But anyway, today we'll be looking at the Black Meteors and their failure at the Under-23 Africa Cup of Nations. Failure is big one. I don't remember last time Ghana made it out of a group stage in any tournament. Anyway, maybe my guys here would remind me of it. But also, we'll be looking at a very special interview. I won't be telling you who it is yet, but just stay tuned because it is a really special interview that we'll have for you. Right here on Sports Ultras. We'll have our guests in studio and talk things that concerns football and relationships with footballers. And just how someone who is not directly into football knows more footballers than I do. We'll be looking at that, and we'll be looking at some free agents. Remember, we are looking at the transfer market, and so it will be a lot about the deals that have been declared official. That would include Havertz, and those in the pipeline that will include Declan Rice. And then we'll be looking at several other free agents that will also should be making moves this particular summer transfer window. So there's a lot that we have for you right here on Sports Ultras. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. The conversation starts in a bit.
This is 3Sports, the best sports team in the country. Get interactive with us across all social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3SportsGH.
Okay, so now let's start the conversation, and we'll be beginning with the Black Meteors. And if you didn't know, let me just brief you what's happened. Ghana were in Group A of the Under-23 Africa Cup of Nations, in the same group as Guinea, Morocco, and who else but Congo. And then, after winning our first game, albeit very late disaster, in the second game against Morocco, everyone thought this is where the Black Meteors will come alive. Maybe against the host nation, we'll remind the world we are Ghana. Well, we reminded the world we are the new Ghana. And we don't know how to win group games. We don't know how to get out of groups. We were actually lashed by the Moroccans, and some of their intricate play there, some of the attacking movements there. We realized as a country, we're limited to long shots. Maybe that was a strategy. One of them produced a goal that was cancelled out just a few seconds after by Fatai Sahaku. Nutshell, we were lashed. Last game, what Guinea needed was a draw to qualify to the next round of the tournament. What we needed was a win, and Guinea got what they wanted. We got a goal early on, but couldn't, stretch the lead or maintain the lead. We allowed them into the game early in the second half, and then everything else is history. Just so you know, the boys are on their way back to Ghana as we speak. We'll be getting into these details, but my guys in the studio would begin a conversation before we get into the camp of the Black Meteors. Let me just hand the reins to Oreku Ampofo before we go to Morocco. Oreku.
I think it's a huge shock considering the standard that we had for the level of our youth football. I come from the point of view that when you look at the 2019 team and how close the team went, and we're literally just a penalty kick away from making it to the Olympic Games, and you consider the fact that yes, maybe they should have directed that rage, that pain into a good performance in this edition to be able to go a step further. But unfortunately, it looks like it's a more or less like a summary of what's happened in Ghana football in the past few weeks, where we've regressed and we failed to qualify. But I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about what went into our failure to exit, to not progress to the next round of the Under-23 AFCON.
Kelvin, you watched them.
Is there?
You watched them. You watched them all 3 games.
Yeah.
So very quick summary in a minute. Before we get into all the specifics, everyone will have their take on the specifics.
I think we had a very weak pair of hands. We were not safe in his hands in the goalpost. We had
when you say pair of hands, you mean the
Danlad.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a useless defense.
Okay.
We had a ripped apart midfield. And an attack where we could only see one promising lad who decided to fight for the nation, but
who is that?
It wasn't enough. I think Emmanuel Yeboah.
Is it because of the goals or beyond the goals you saw more?
Theory, the confidence, the technique, the edge to fight for every single ball, even positioning and team play. His first goal, his first contribution to the game, his assist to that first goal for Ghana. Gave me that promise that, come on, this is a lad who is willing to do his bit, and it really did work. And I think for our technical team, the least said about them, the better. They were just, I don't know, should I say they were cowards? Yeah, they were.
They were cowards.
Yeah.
I'll let you explain.
All the four of them, all the four coaches.
I'll let you explain that later. Aniela,
Very
initial thoughts on the Meteors?
unforgivable performance. That's what I'll say.
Unforgivable.
First 2 games, fine, I can forgive. We can concede that it was to be expected. But honestly, that final game against Guinea, I would say it's unforgivable, honestly. Completely unforgivable. Yeah, honestly, I'll just say that was completely unforgivable because the Congolese game, like you said, towards the end, there was a bit of disaster in there, but at least we came out with a victory. And so that's in itself fine. We can run away with it. Oreku was a bit worried about the Moroccan game, and that's exactly how it played out. It just played out in very shambolic fashion. But even then, again, I could forgive that performance. But what I can't forgive is, again, at the last moment, you were saying it yourself, what we needed was victory. We had the goal in there. Just hold it till the last minute. And then we proved again that when it counts most, we break and fall apart.
Yeah.
Like old mama's car. Yeah.
So I just want to take it off from where Aniela left it. I think that Aniela said when the Black Meteor scored, she was hoping that we would hold on to it. I mean, that's a funny thought.
Why?
Because I don't think the Black Meteor. The whole time I was watching the game, I knew Guinea would score.
They don't have the character to maintain a lead.
If you concede 5. And if you concede 7 in 2 games, what's the guarantee that you're not conceding in the last game?
True.
Exactly, and that was all played out.
So do you think it was a wrong strategy, thinking we can score 1 goal and protect the lead, instead of thinking of outscoring the opponent, because we knew they were going to score?
So you see, the thing is that we tried to outscore them, but they were just better on their day.
Okay.
And that is where it is really sad, because the thing is, our goal came against the run of play. Okay. We weren't controlling the game in any way. We just got a chance, we scored. And then after we scored, the Guineans just kept controlling the game and controlling. Okay. If they hadn't gotten anything away from this game, football would have been the cruelest sport ever. So yeah, I think that it was a fair reflection on the game.
Okay, if you didn't watch,
if
you didn't watch the Black Meteors and you listened to the guys in the studio, you maybe would have a picture of everything that happened in Morocco. The last game was in Tangier, and that's where the Black Meteors are en route from to Casablanca to board a plane back to Ghana. If you're expecting the Black Meteors, they would be on Ghana soil later tomorrow morning. My guess is they would land very, very early in the morning, considering the time they're leaving. But we are fortunate to be on the line with Fred Echampong, and he is a very high-ranking member of the Ghana Football Association. I'm talking about an executive council member, and was leading the delegation to Morocco, the mission to conquer Africa. It didn't happen. Fred, good evening, and you're welcome to Sports Ultras.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, Fred. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening.
Great. How is Morocco?
Morocco is okay. We're on the highway heading to the airport.
And when you, I don't know if you've spoken to anyone back here in Ghana. Let me just take it from the Ghana Football Association, officials, the top officials that you work with. Have you heard from them, and what's the feedback after our exit?
Have I heard from who?
Have you spoken to the GFA top officials back here in Ghana, and what's the reaction after our exit?
Oh, we always in conversation. I mean, before the game, during the game, and after the game, and everyone is disappointed because we had a lot of hopes in this team, but it turned out that we could not perform as we planned, and so everyone is disappointed.
Okay, and give us a rundown of what happened after that last result against Guinea. The mood in camp, the reaction of the players, the reaction of the technical
everyone
team.
Is devastated. Normally, as it happens, when you play a game and you lose, and in this case, we didn't lose, but we drew, and it was not enough for us to qualify to the next stage. So the players were so disappointed. In fact, they were stuck on the pitch. We had to get to the pitch to encourage them to, gather some sort of energy and go to the changing room. Well, it's been, but we've been talking to the players. I mean, it has happened. There's very little you can do about it. Beyond that, we're looking forward to, leave Morocco, and happened that we're flying out tonight, and so we're on our way to the airport.
And what are the cracks in this team, Fred? I mean, it's a team what are the cracks in the team? What I mean is the team.
We are driving on the highway, so I can hardly hear you.
Okay. Again. Hopefully you hear the question I'm about to put out. What I'm saying is, what I'm asking is, this team had a lot of promise. What went wrong?
Well, that's the big question. You see, during the qualifiers, I mean, one department that we had so much hope in was our defense. In the qualifiers, I think we played 4 games. We considered 2 goals. So it proved to us that was the strongest of our department. But when we arrived at the tournament, I mean, there were some changes in terms of defense. Alisopoku couldn't turn up for the tournament, and the coaches had to make some changes. And during the tournament, our strongest department turned out to be our weakest department. As we considered, I think, 8 goals in 3 matches, and I think that's not good enough.
And as a leader of the team, have you had a word with the technical team about the feelings?
Yes. We've had several meetings. We've had several discussions.
Can you give us a brief on what's happened so far, what you guys discussed? And
in terms of the meetings we've held,
not just the meetings, but basically what the fallouts will be, because at this point Ghanaians are looking for answers, not just.
Is that what? Not
I'm
just
saying. I'm saying. Can you hear me, Fred?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying is, Ghanaians are looking for answers, not just verbal, but we are looking to see changes. Are we going to see changes in the Black Meteors?
Obviously, yes, because do not forget that when a team is formed, it's formed for the tournament, especially with this particular team. It's a 4-year mandate for the Black Meteors. And even at the FA, all appointments are for 2 years. And it ends this year. And so definitely there will be changes.
Okay, so is that a signal that the head coach will move on?
the point I'm raising is that this team was formed for the purposes of the Olympic Games. I mean, qualifying for the Olympic Games. We failed to qualify. So obviously, if it happens that the Executive Council will discuss maybe in offering another appointment and they consider the coach to continue, why it will be the decision of the Executive Council. I'm not in a position to say whether we continue or not because I in person or like an individual do not make appointments in terms of the national teams. It's the decision of the Executive Council.
But from where you sit, you obviously are in a very high position at the Ghana Football Association. Do you see Ibrahim Tanko continuing as a head coach?
You are seeing him continue as the head coach?
Yes.
I'm saying that the team stands dissolved because this team was for the Olympic Games and we didn't qualify. There's no tournament for us next year. So the team stands dissolved anyway.
And what then happens to the prospects we have in the team? You've spoken about the technical team, but what about the playing body? What happens to some of the promising guys that we have there? Do we see a national team stunt?
Of course, because the players who played, some of them have played for Ghana in the U17 and in the U20. Some of them have played for the Black Stars, and so they will continue to participate or contribute to Ghana football in areas that they are needed. Some of them are eligible to play for the U23 again, maybe going forward. Some of them are eligible to play for the Chan team, those who play in the local league, and others who are good enough to play for the Black Stars. And as Joma played for the Black Stars, Patahu has played for the Black Stars before. Danlad Ibrahim has played for the Black Stars before. Daniel Fiebani has played for the Black Stars before. And so,
Fred, before I let you go, let's talk money. What we hear, can you hear me, Fred?
Yes, I can hear
you. Okay, great. What we hear is that the head coaches of the age limit teams, in this case, under 23, under 20, but let's just focus on under 23, that they don't get paid. How true is this? And if true,
they don't get what?
They don't get paid. No monthly salaries. Is there any truth in it? And if true, what's the reasoning behind it?
Well, I don't understand the question you're asking. That
does Ibrahim Tanko receive monthly salary? Does he receive monthly salary?
No. Because most of them they work for their clubs, just like the footballers. The players that play for the national team, they do not receive salary. And so it is when they are invited, like the coaches are invited, then they earn what we call per diem on daily basis in terms of the number of days you stay in camp or you travel. And then when the team wins matches, then they earn winning bonus.
Does this not affect the integrity of the team? Again, I'm looking at a head coach of a national team not receiving any monthly salary. Does it not open the gates for bribery, corruption?
Well, that's a different area you're talking about. But I've known Tanko for a number of years, and I know his integrity. I know he's somebody that I can rely on, and someone that I do not think would, basically because he doesn't receive a monthly salary, and so he's going to take money from somebody. No, I know Ibrahim Tanko, and I know he won't do such a thing.
But have you had any reports from any players, heard anything from any players' camp that someone took money from my boy?
Second.
Have you heard anything from the camp that suggests that there's been no such reports?
No.
No such reports?
No such reports.
So when Ghanaians scream that certain players didn't deserve to be there and they probably were there because they've paid some money to the technical team, have you had any cause to investigate any of those allegations?
No, if you have evidence, definitely then to be investigated and necessary actions to be taken. But I haven't heard any such report.
What about the player bonuses? Considering, this, what we hear or what we know is that throughout the qualifiers and then now the the tournament itself, they still haven't received their bonuses, the players, I mean.
That is false. That is false. We played 2 qualifiers. I mean, we played against 2 countries. We played against Mozambique, home and away, and we played against Algeria, home and away. By the time we played the first leg against Algeria, I mean, before we traveled to Algeria, the winning bonus for the Mozambique home and away had been paid. And then we played Algeria. We won that one, we qualified. And the Algeria winning bonus too, before we played the last game here against Guinea, the checks were written. They sent us copies of the checks written for the team. And so it is not true that since we started the qualifiers, no winning bonus has been paid to the team. It is not true.
Okay, and what about the reported revolts before the last game by the players?
Say again?
What about the reported revolts by the players before the last game?
No, there's no revolt. They asked for their winning bonus, like I'm saying. They asked for the winning bonus for the Algeria game. And we spoke to the ministry. The ministry agreed and they signed the checks. They sent copies of the checks to us. We showed to the team. And so there was nothing like that.
It will be unfair if I don't update Ghanaians about Enes Nyama. But before we do that, actually,
again?
Before I move on to Enes Nyama, and that'll be my last question to you, are you saying that every single player has received their bonuses? Every single player?
Have I seen what?
I'm asking if every single player, per what you're saying, has received their bonuses.
Every single player has received their bonuses.
Yes.
The bonuses that have been paid, everyone received it. Anybody who participated in the match. You see, what happens is that, for instance, when we played against Mozambique, the players that played against Mozambique, not all of them were available for the game against Algeria. So there could be a player who played in the Algeria game who didn't play in the Mozambique game. So if it happens like that, when bonuses are being paid for the Mozambique game, and you played in the Algeria game, you do not expect to receive bonus because he did not participate in the game against the Mozambicans. So he will definitely not receive bonus. And the Algeria game, like I said to you, the checks were written. They sent us copies of the check, but the checks are in Ghana. And so when we get to Ghana, then everybody can receive their check.
And that's what the players were asking for before the final game.
Say again?
And the written checks, that's what the players were asking for before the final game.
No, because the checks were not available. So they asked for the winning bonus for the Algeria game. And so we explained to them that because before then, the ministry had told us that the bonuses for the Algeria game had been approved. And so they were processing it. And the processing, it goes through a process. And so when they asked, we went back to the ministry and then truly they sent us copies of the checks written in the names of the players. So they sent to us and we showed them that their checks were ready in Ghana.
Okay, actually, before I let you go, Enes Nyama, conflicting reports. Was he injured?
No injury, but he felt uncomfortable. There was some discomfort in his thigh, and he required some rest. And so he rested, I think, for 2 days. And not like injury as in injury, but before he arrived, even to play in the first game, there was that discomfort. And so I think his training was limited before the first game. And after he played in the game against Morocco, I think he felt the discomfort again. And so he needed rest. And so he rested before. That's how come the coach even didn't start him in the game against Guinea.
Okay, Fred, thank you very much for your time. I know that you are on your way to the airport. Thank you very much for still granting us this interview and, of course, opening the lid on a lot of the issues that confuses Ghanaians as we speak. And that has been the management committee chairman of the Black Meteors. That's Ghana under 23. That's Freddie Champong, and he is with the team as they are embarking on a journey from Tangier to Casablanca. Back here to Ghana latest by tomorrow morning, barring any delays. And that has been the conversation. He's actually touched on quite a number of things. I'll get to my guys in the studio, but Faisal Chipsa has been listening to the conversation and wants to make an input. So Faisal Chipsa should join us also in just a few seconds. Actually, he's on. So Faisal, good evening and welcome to Sports Ultras.
Bill.
Hello, Faisal. It's Thierry. Welcome to Sports Ultras.
Hi, Thierry. Thanks. How are you, Thierry?
I'm doing well. We haven't seen each other since Qatar.
Yeah, I was still thinking you were still in Qatar.
Anyway, Faisal, let's have a conversation around the Meteors. You followed keenly what the Meteors did in Morocco. It's been a rather disappointing turnout yet again by a Ghana national team at any level, and yet again another exit from the group stages. As you saw yourself with the Black Stars in Qatar.
It's very difficult to get you. I'm not sure if it's my line or not, but I only caught a few bit of it. And I think you were asking how was the performance of the Meteors.
Yes,
is that right?
yes, that's exactly what I'm asking.
Okay. Well, let me say good evening to my fellow Daniela. See you there, Kevin as well. The rest of you.
Why was Aniela the first name you mentioned?
Arsenal agenda. Is that
Why? No. Oh, Arsenal.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Next season.
Because it's an Arsenal.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was something else.
Next
Okay.
It's purely Arsenal. But anyways, I think we all know because of performance. I was just finishing a report for the first one day, and clearly felt that this is not good for Ghana. Cannot go to the competition and be ranked as one of two of the low teams at the competition. We are really, really far off from what modern football players are not comfortable on the ball. Working here, we don't look like a team. Let me simply put it that way. And for me, it's very embarrassing. That a was known one of the powerful four nations in Africa. Now we can compete against Guinea, Congo. So yeah, I think it's time to come back.
I'm sorry to cut you, Faisal, but you are breaking a lot, and we are struggling to put your words together. If you can just adjust yourself, I'm not sure where you are and how you're seated and what the network situation is like there. But if you can just adjust yourself just a little bit, it would help us a great deal.
How about now?
Yes, now it's better.
Is it better?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right, that's good.
So, in your capacity as a performance analyst, working at the highest level with FIFA and all that, how would you technically rate the Black Meteors?
How would I rate them?
Yeah, technically, how would you rate the Black Meteors?
Wow. And I don't know if you want me to. What I can do, what I can share with you here is it's the report that we've gathered so far.
Okay.
Our job here really is to look at some of the common trends in the game, find out what the best teams are doing well, and why the lower teams are struggling. Okay, and just going by the numbers I have around, what I can share with you is if you look at compactness out of possession, we were ranked the lowest. So what that means is when we don't have the ball, we are nowhere close to a team that's ready to defend and or force a position into areas where we want to win the ball. Our numbers are far off. It doesn't look like a competitive team. In possession as well, the good teams are very brave on the ball, play in tight situations. They receive with intent to play forward, and they have a clear strategy of how they want to straight into the final third. And if you compare our game, which is Ghana, the rest, we were nowhere close to what the best teams are producing. So I would say anything that could go wrong for a team, unfortunately, went wrong for us, which is, again, unacceptable for like Ghana. What simply means we are far off what a competitive team should look like in the competition. We're nowhere close as a team to the best performance in competition.
And from where you stand, maybe that's my last question to you. What would be the way forward for the Black Meteors? Per what you observed, how can we get better?
For the Black Meteors?
Yeah, for the Black Meteors. And maybe for Ghana football as a whole, because you saw the Black Stars, you've seen the Meteors, and you've seen other age limit teams as well.
I think it's very clear. If you're 17, well, if your 20s are not doing well, don't expect to have a competing U23. It's as simple as that. It's a progression. You go from one stage to the other. And both the lower teams, 7, but so you have all failed to compete at the highest level. So for me, what we see now started years ago. We've just not paid attention to it. So if we really want to compete at this level, then we have to go back to the lower national teams, start to build from there. That includes a proper talent ID system, that includes education for players, better education for coaches. And we have to keep up with the modern. If we're just going to look at our game, we are far off from the rest of the world. That includes we have to analyze those games. We have to see what the common game is pointing. And we have to catch up to it. Right now, I can tell you, Ghana League, our youth leagues are far off what the international football look like. So if we keep focusing on our country and competing in that lesser environment, it's impossible to go into an international competition and ready to compete at that level, because taking a fish out of water and don't provide the same environment for the fish, it's a die. And that's exactly what we are facing. Our competitions back home are very poor, and try to move from that environment to international one, which is very high. It doesn't work that way. The whole ecosystem in country needs a revamp, and I think it's about time we all sit down and talk about where we are now. And
okay, Faisal, I think that I would let you go now, and a big thank you, for your time on the show. We should be speaking to you a lot more later, during the competition, and maybe after it, about Ghana football. Would make a lot of time for this conversation. It really is important, and would like to get your thoughts on Ghana football and the way forward.
All right, Thierry, thank you. Enjoyed it.
By all means, enjoy your evening. That is Faisal Chipsine. That's a FIFA performance analyst. And he says when you put a lot of the departments together, Ghana did not match up with the other teams. In fact, we were the lowest ranked when you talk about possession, when you talk about compactness in the entire tournament. And it's a tournament that had Congo and Guinea, with all due respect. Guys, before I bring my special guest in focus, let's just have our final thoughts on the Meteors. Maybe we just dedicate 5 minutes to the conversation and then we move on.
Definitely, Thierry. I just want to start from this point. They had the pre-tournament camping and everything, and it seemed like everything was going on well.
Yeah.
Even before the first game against Congo, Ibrahim Tanko in his pre-match presser had said that not only did they want to qualify for the Olympic Games, but they also wanted to go all out because there was a trophy at stake and then to win. And I feel like as a coach, you're worth your word. Come on. And looking at the performance that we put up, honestly, the one that even I think triggers me and upsets me the most is the Guinea game. Because like I said, Congo, I'd forgive. Morocco, I'd forgive. But Guinea, I can't.
Why? That's
where it counted most. And like we keep going back and forth with this type of thing. And I mean, y'all disagree.
Even if they are one of the most dangerous teams.
Exactly.
You still can't forgive.
Try and nick it in. And unfortunately, that was not to be. I also saw some of Asamoah Gyan's comments, and I don't really know how true that is. But watching them, I wouldn't say they played entirely as a unit. So I can see some truth in what he was saying there. Like, players seem to be focusing more on their individual strengths as against, putting the team together and trying to, get out of the group stages at least. This was a very disappointing campaign, and I think that if we look at it, all the conversations leading up to the tournament, everybody was talking about how, you know, the Black Meteors are the stars of Ghana and they are going to do something this tournament, and for us to close it out like this, I should have just listened to Oreko in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to Fred, but he spoke a lot about the money issues, spoke about Nyama saying he wasn't really injured, but had to take a rest. Spoke about the technical team at the moment standing at a dissolution, meaning we don't have a technical team for the Meteors. It's quite a number of things, but he didn't categorically say that they are losing their jobs because of the low performance.
I mean, the thing is, if Ibrahim Tanko leaves the post right now, who gets it? There aren't enough local coaches in Ghana. The coaching system has become a revolving door.
Anna Walker?
I mean,
he's left the Black Galaxies.
So he's left Black Galaxies after they failed, and now he gets a Black Meteors job. And then what? Ibrahim Tanko goes to Black Galaxies. It has just become a revolving door. And it's not going to help us if we keep recycling these coaches. If you failed, you failed. You just need to leave the scene, try to better yourself, and then come back. But it looks like that has not been the case with us. And I think that generally the Black Meteors have disappointed everyone, and I just hope that the FA can learn from this. But if I'm looking at how the administration has gone, I don't think that they have particularly learned from anything.
Okay.
I mean, this happened in 2019 where we couldn't qualify for the Olympics. In 2019, it was the normalization committee that took us to the AFCON. We left in a round of 16. The AFCON where this FA administration took us, we left in the group stages. We left the World Cup in the group stages. The only bright spot has been the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations win with Fatawu Shahaku. And since then, every other thing has crumbled. The princesses have crumbled, the maidens have been banned, the queens are not doing well. Something has to be done. I don't think anybody at the Football Association should look at what is happening and feel proud that they hold positions in there. So hopefully meetings are held and then things change so that, you know, we can just get our football back on track again. And also, just a final word of caution. If Chris Hughton was watching that game against Guinea, he should know that it is the same level of football that the Central African Republic is going to play with us in September. And we need a win to qualify for the AFCON in that game. So if I mean, the thing is that thinking of Ghana or the Black Stars not qualifying for an AFCON is like a wildest imagination. It's not something that could happen. But
it's possible.
And it is a word of caution to Chris Hughton. If it has happened to the Meteors, it can happen to the Black Stars.
Oreko.
I like how Yao mentioned, Chris Hughton in the end, because the thing is, Hughton watched the game, and if I'm to go by the statement,
putting down notes.
Going by the statement by the FA, he wasn't just putting down notes. The FA said in their statement that Hughton is in Morocco to offer technical support and help the team with ushering the younger players into, the developmental phases and all that, hoping that they would develop well and come and play for the Black Stars.
So is it a teacher that is bad or the student that is bad?
All I can say is that he started off with technical support after our win against Congo. That's when he arrived. So since he arrived, we lost 5 to Morocco.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, I'm not saying anything.
we scored 1 goal.
We lost 5 and then we drew to Guinea. So I don't know the level of technical support. But what
we retrogress under the support.
It's not just, I'm not even just limiting it to Chris Hughton. But I think in terms of the technical bench that we had, this is way better than the 2019. Calvin, if I'm wrong, in terms of the experience of the coaches, the number of coaches, the data analysts that we've had, we even took drones and all of that for analysis. And we couldn't go past the group stage. For me, I think this is unforgivable. And 2 points. As a nation, you usually have to decide, youth football, what do you really want from it? The obvious choice that a lot of countries make is that, look, it's just a developmental thing. It's an opportunity to give your young players to experience the tournament feel and probably help with their development and all that. The other side to it is there are countries who basically go there just to win. And they don't care about how they play. They don't care about, how the team managed to get results. Just find a way of getting a result. And I think that has been the way Ghana has approached youth football in the past few years. if you remember, our most celebrated success from a couple of years ago when we won the Under-20 AFCON, we didn't play too well. All we did was Fatau Isaku will score a cracker, Precious Bar will score a free kick, and then Ghana found a way to win the tournament.
Okay.
I don't think in terms of the football being played and how the players were learning, Ghana were anywhere near the best team. And you could see with 2 years down the line, are we reaping from the benefits? You can count on one hand the number of players who progressed from that under-20 team to the under-23. I'm just looking at Fatawi Isaku, Banier, Danlad, and Esiam.
Okay.
Where are the other guys? Where's Precious Bar, who was scoring goals for fun? Where's Philemon Bafo? And, all the host of players who were in the team, where are they now?
Let me catch you real quick. I'll come back to you, though, because you are here in the studio with me. But on the phone line, we have Atapoku, a sports journalist based in the Ashanti region. But, of course, he's everywhere in the country, including the continent. And maybe he had eyes and ears in Morocco as well. Atapoku, good evening, and you're welcome to Sports Ultras.
Pierre, good evening. How are you, please?
I'm doing very, very well. I hope you are too.
I'm big off.
Yeah, you're doing better than the ordinary football fan on the streets who is devastated at Ghana football and where we are at the moment.
Oh, Jerry, good to go. This thing is not nice at all.
You say it's not nice. You put it in the simplest form.
It's not nice at all. The earlier we all accept where we are and what is happening to us, the better for everyone, Jerry. It is not nice at all. It is not at all.
How did we get here, Atapoku?
We lack the fundamentals and decided to see football as a money business. Now let me talk from 2017. When we went to Gabon for the AFCON and after the team, before the team left here, it was sold by faculty. They are agreed on a DM of $70 a day for those under 17. They go to Gabon on the eve of their opening game, told the management committee to tell the minister in Ghana that if they don't get $100 like AXA gets for a DM in the team, they would play the outcome. This is that is represented as in the under 23 out. And lo and behold, my brother, Ibrahim Santo said they had a short period to train in between games. You know what they used that day for? That supposed record day. They use it to judge everybody in the team itself. That if you don't pay them their qualification bonus against Algeria, they won't also play. This is where we are. We have some one-time sport. And there's something like the first minutes a game. The players are homeless ransom. Obviously, money. So our football is money. Now, nothing like development, nothing like getting things together, nothing like a plan, nothing.
But we were just on the phone with Fred. We were on the phone with Freddie Champon, management committee chairman of the Meteors, and he says they don't owe the players any money. He says the last bit of payment, has been issued by form of checks, and they are in Ghana. The players were asking for it, but the moment they touch down, they get their money, so they are not owed any money, according to Fred.
Now, this check was shown to the player at the dressing room a few minutes before the game started. It was the deputy minister for youth and sport. At the time they were open. They moved to Tangier on Thursday. They did. And on that Thursday evening, they were in a revolt meeting someone by Danlad and the PU party, together with Fred Example, telling him that if they don't get the bonus, they would attack themselves. So there was a new thing. So that's the reason why they didn't play well. The guy of the money has been paid, the check has been issued, We all know money is not taking players anymore. The check is issued here, it is paid into your account so that government can get their tax out of it. We all know that. As this money was shown to the players, 10 minutes before kickoff, and then start Grand Start Tanzania in Morocco. So the same thing is, know what has happened. You will not be caring enough to tell everybody. And that's the truth.
Okay, and when you look at the performance, I mean, let's move away from the administrative part. When you look at the performance of the Meteors, what do you make of what happened on the pitch 3 times, as we saw in Morocco? 3 times that has led to the exits of Ghana in that tournament.
Yeah, I wish I had the right question to that, but I will try.
Try.
In Ghana, players are not afraid to receive pass in Ghana. The ordinary Ghanaian footballer never shies away from the pass. And they don't control the pass before they think of what. Before the ball gets to them, and you have a chance. Why? Because they slot to here all over the field. But watch these players live in the stadium. You see them running away whenever the defenders have the ball for them to avail themselves as technical quality of the Ghana. If for all he does, the Ghana people from the Kinkovila is not able to control and drive the team, they are in danger of one of the best players for them. The fair touch, the fair ball, eluded a PA ban on countless occasions. That was our bread and butter. Every Ghanaian striker loves to play the ball. When they have to be disciplined, score with 1-2, they want to take more touch. But even down, the first touch is go for, by the time he gets the ball under control, he's in muzzled of the ball. The technical base, a nation that has produced on entrance, Issa Rahman, Amit Football, Chila mentioned them. Ghana has never been in sort of quality centre back. Look at that. Our centre backs are always free when they have the ball. And when they try to make sure they give the ball away and they are unable to recover. A Ghanaian centre back lacks the public place. When was the last time you heard something like that? The line of Amase and Co. Every department is a shortcoming. The last goalkeeping in the tournament was crystallized in the goal Guinea scored and the 4th goal Morocco scored. Where he gave the Moroccan striker Berardi all the time to place the ball at one side because he was way out of it. We have a lot of work to do. Cup lines in A. We are doing cup lines in B. Cup lines in Z. And our coaches are unable to impose their philosophy, identity, and tactics in the game. Now are playing against Guinea. You can't see the team factor. And now they intend to progress. Whether they are going to go with vertical progression or pass the ball amongst themselves. We don't know. We are always hoping. Listen to the English commentary of the whole Emmanuel Yeboah scored a game. It encapsulates everything for us. Out of nothing, Ghana has scored. Out of nothing, the Guinean defender said, out of nothing, Ghana has profited from a situation he didn't have avoided. Were we able to construct anything to the goal? No. No. A big no. Technically, our players are poor. This is not us. A Ghanaian team in the tournament is chasing a result at 10 minutes. They need to score 1 goal to make it 2-1 and qualify for the next game. Everything is at stake, my brother. This Ghana team will not get a single shot on target in the second 45 minutes of that game, I think. I mean, what then were we playing for? What?
Anyway, Atta, we'll make time for more of this conversation. We'll make time for more of this conversation. We'll have to move on and then, look at other things. But thank you very much for your time, Atta. As you know, we definitely will get through to you, even on TV3, as we have several other, opportunities to discuss the Meteors. The fallout definitely continues. And we'll be moving on. I think we've exhausted.
Yes, but Terry, I just want to say something regarding what Fred said. I'm a little confused concerning the arrangement.
Which arrangement?
He said for the qualifying bonus, what he said or what he explained was that it's only the players who played that would be.
Yeah, he said with the qualifiers. So against Mozambique, those who were called and those who played will receive their bonuses.
Those who were called and those who
because
played.
the qualifiers, it's not a tournament, so it's not like everyone. But with the qualifiers, because it is, every game has a different selection and a different call-up. So his explanation was, then it means if you were not called for Mozambique, but you're called for Algeria, you
wouldn't get paid for Mozambique.
Which makes sense. But he was just addressing the qualifiers. What he should, what we wanted him, we didn't have time. But if I had the time, I'd have pushed him a lot more for the tournament bonuses.
He was trying to avoid it anyway.
But we'll get there.
So explain the qualifying bonuses.
We'll get there. Anyway, so that's being the crackdown on the Black Meteors and everything that has come in and around that conversation.
I know talk some.
You know talk some.
Yeah.
But we don't get time, Kelvin. We don't get time. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay. I think I've been blaming this on the technical team. Theory, in as much as there were difficulties in the team, any team or any coach that works on a team, at least you see whatever they want to achieve at the end of the day. Did you see any pattern of play with the Black Stars that the Black Meteors that you realize that no, this is what we want to do. We want to play from the right hand side of defense or maybe from the left hand side of attack. Did you see anything like that? Nah. We're just lost in everything that we're doing. And No. And clearly, these are coaches who have been working with youth systems. Someone like Ibrahim Tango is the technical director for Accra Lions.
Yeah.
And he's worked with Dortmund as a scout. He's worked with the senior national team. He cannot tell us that going into a tournament with the team that he had, he couldn't develop a pattern of play. Godwin Atram has been handling his academy, which has been one of the best in recent times, producing some of the quality players. Is he trying to tell us that when he's training the young lads, he's not able to realize and identify whatever game plan that suits the talents that he has? Michael Osei told us that the reason why it worked for Abednego Tete this season for Bibiani Gold Stars and did not work for him at Accra Suffolk and King Faisal was because he developed a game style that helped him, that playing from the flanks and then flying the crosses in because of his height to connect and then get the goals for Gold Stars. The reason why he emerged Koken. Ablade Morgan, with all his experience, and he was part of the last time we made wonders at the Olympic Games in Barcelona, 1992. So I think we should have been able to realize and identify this. And for this is to the FA, if they continue to be dishonest in selection of players, it is always going to be the same. And one critical thing, a scout using coaches as scouts will never work for Ghana. They should identify. We need proper scouts because they tell us the difference between what a coach sees in a player and a scout sees talent and potential, but a coach is looking for performance. And the reason why we've been missing out on the proper talent, if we fail to use proper scouts, there's nothing going to work. And you are going to a tournament, you tell us, Oreku just told us we had a video analyst. You trained for 2 weeks at Pram Pram without a video analyst, and just 3 days or 2 days to a tournament, you send a video analyst. What is he going to do there in those 3 days that you are fine-tuning the team? It won't work. It won't work.
Okay, it won't work, and a lot of things didn't work. For the Meteors. Aniela, you want to talk again, but you won't talk.
I just want to say something before I go.
Okay. You want
next
so final words.
Is a season of harvest. Well, honestly, I'm right.
You see,
there'll be a lot going on.
A
whole lot. The team is set.
Kawa push the microphone off you, and you still found a way back to the microphone.
Yeah, we are harvesting timber. We are harvesting timber to cook rice.
It's gonna be so sweet.
Yes, people are about to like.
Do you know what would be sweet? Do you know what would be sweet?
What would be sweet?
When Arsenal have a free run to the title, and in April, usurped again by either Liverpool or Man City.
Yeah, but at least
we'll focus on 12 positions.
Yes, we'll rank better than Chelsea.
I know where I am. I'm not fighting for it. You are dreaming big. You want to win a title.
Yes.
And I'm saying your bubble will burst at the end.
Oh, that's a lie. That's
so
a lie.
in the end, in the end, Arsenal fans will be harvesting. Instead of harvesting titles, they'll be harvesting disappointments, failures, hopelessness, and a lot of disappointment. Basically, asking themselves why we still support this
but
team
at least
that wear red and white.
We wouldn't be Maduke ourselves,
Maduke is not a vet.
Yes, okay, because that's...
Ladies. All right, so we promised you a lot. And besides the Meteors, we also promised you a special interview. Remember that introduction I did, right? And I told you we'll be having, a big man in the studio. He's in the studio already. In a very nice cap, very nice top, looking all fly. I'm talking about Nicky Otre, celebrated barber and hairstylist. And maybe you've seen him on social media. You may have seen this man, spending time with a lot of the footballers. These high-profile footballers that you see on your screens week in, week out. He spends time with them, leisurely. And today he's here in the studio with us, telling us just how he got there and what the whole hype has been about him for years now. He's worked with the likes of Mario Balotelli, Memphis Depay, Ona Samoa-Jan, Thomas Partey, and several other stars in England and who have spent time in England. But what exactly got him there, and how has he sustained this relationship with these people? Nicky Otre, good evening and welcome to Ultras.
Big man. I'm blessed to be here, man.
We are blessed to have you. Hopefully by the time you go, I have my hair shaved again. Sure. I mean, I shaved it this morning, but I want to get it shaved again.
Sure. You just want a game-changing one.
Yeah. I want something that would get my bosses to ask, what are you doing to yourself? You do something shaky on my head, and I receive my sack letter on Wednesday. But one man you can do that to anyway is Oreku. Oreku does the craziest hairstyles amongst all of us. A sports journalist who looks like a footballer.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll show you some of his pictures. But yeah, welcome to Sports Ultras.
Thank you.
How long have you been in Ghana though? Please speak into the microphone for us. Help me.
I've been here for almost 8 days now.
8 days.
Yeah, today is my 8th day.
8th day.
Yes.
You're Ghanaian, obviously.
Proper one.
Yeah. Pan on the count crashes. But how often do you come down?
No, I come on a regular. Like normally, I used to come once in every month, which is June. Normally, I come when the footballers are on a break, but it's becoming the normal regular. Every now and then, when somebody wants my service, they just invite me and I come.
Oh, you come down specially?
Yes.
To do your work?
Yes.
As a barber and go back to the UK?
Yes.
Wow.
100%.
Wow.
Yes.
Plane ticket?
Yes.
Hotel?
And there are barbers in the country.
So why is that the case?
I mean, it's how you position yourself. As you know the saying that goes like, "Soya Kolana." I have to say in the tree because I don't know how to
that's fine.
drop it in. Soya Kolana on him said the hero
When you pay for it,
yes. So it's how you position yourself. It's not that there's no barbers in Ghana, but it's
pure positioning and branding.
Proper.
How have you done this over the years? How long have you been a barber anyway?
I've been doing this for almost 20 years.
Sorry?
Proper.
You've been seeing the top of people's heads for 20 years?
Proper.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. But how did you get into that celebrity space, that football circle? Because I guess some of the most difficult hairstyles we've seen will be done by footballers. I mean, they do numbers, they do love emojis, they do whatever they want to do. All the crazy hairstyles, especially ahead of tournaments and big days for them in regular seasons. How did you get into that space, considering the difficulty in the hairstyles they do?
Okay, so first of all, let me say big thank you to, because I always take these interviews as like my World Cup, because it's not common for like a barber to just, back in the days how people don't rate barbers. Yeah. It's not common for a barber to just come in a radio station and you get interviewed. So I always want to say thank you to God for changing the narrative. Like much as we're pushing our own agenda, everything is God. So let me go straight forward and say thank you to Yakubu Aigbeni for that privilege. He's actually the first footballer that I cut in the UK, and then afterwards I went everywhere.
What was special about that hairstyle? How did you then go everywhere with that hairstyle? I mean, if it was simple, why was everybody else interested?
Okay, so You see, it gets to a point where it's not only about haircut, you know.
Yeah.
It comes with passion. It comes with the kind of like energy you pour out. You know, it comes with, you know, I don't even think it's only the haircut, because he just loved the service, and you know, after he posted it, and that's it. Everybody is looking to have an experience with Nicky.
The Nicky experience, though, tell me about it. What special thing do you do with these players or with anybody else, any of your customers, any of your high-profile customers? What is a special thing that you do that keeps them coming back to you?
Okay, so I keep telling barbers that barbers play a major role in men's life.
Okay.
We don't just cut hair. We are like therapies. We are like role models. We play a lot of roles in people's life. And so when customers, or when you get clients, when people sit in your chair, you don't just cut your hair. You don't just cut their hair and expect them to leave. You know, people have so much problem that they don't even tell people. They can't discuss with people, you know, because they don't have the connection to be telling people their problems. And so I see it as a privilege that anyone that sits on my chair is good to ask them about life. You know, there's so many people, they don't even know who to talk to. So once they sit in your chair, which is the comfort zone, you ask them about life, talk to them about everything, let them feel at home, you know, and then build a relationship with them. You know, it's not all about the money.
Okay.
You know, so once you start doing this, they kind of like establish some, you know, relationship with you, and it becomes like a family thing. So anyone that sits on my chair knows that is definitely coming back to me. Some people have problems that they don't discuss with their wives. They'll call me, Nicky, and this, I'm talking about personal problems.
Conversations.
You know, and they'll call me, Nicky, what do you think I should do, and da. And you know, it's not a haircut, you know.
Yeah.
Then we end up talking, and we find results to the problem.
Who would you say is the biggest star you've worked with as a barber? Whose hair have you shaved that you went home and said, wow? I mean, you looked in the mirror and wondered if you really did this.
I don't want to create problems though.
No, I mean, it's no problem. I mean, we just want to get into your head and find out, you know, things that what you consider achievements, and just the people that you've been excited to work with.
To be honest with you, from day one, I've been saying I want to cut Pastor Lawrence Tete's hair.
Oh,
and remember, it's my uncle, you know, but he have his own barber.
Yeah.
And so I said it one time on like when I was watching, he was having a TV program, and I was saying in my heart that I'll one day cut his hair. I said it in my heart.
Okay.
But whilst I was saying, he came out, and then my mom asked me, "What are you saying?" And I said, "Mom, I'm gonna cut his hair one day." He said, "You're not there yet."
That's an anointed head. You don't just touch it.
And so one time, like I said this in Ghana, you know, and it was way back. So one time I was in London, and then I had a call. He said, "Nene, where are you?" I want my haircut. I was like, "Ah."
The very thing you've been wanting. Wow.
You know.
Wow.
So I wouldn't say he's the biggest celebrity, but you know, is my dad, like my paps.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in direct relationship. You know?
And since then, you've been cutting his hair, or it's been once in a while.
I mean, if I'm around, no one will touch his hair.
You have anointed hands then. Anyway, but because it's a sports show, I'll still narrow it to the sports conversation. And you have worked with a number of footballers. Can you count how many footballers you've worked with?
I doubt it.
You can't?
I doubt it. And anytime I go to a radio interview or TV interview, and I don't mention certain names, I get problems.
Because some of them are friends.
Yes.
And so they will
They're
ask
not even
why.
friends. We're family. Like,
Yeah. So they ask why you didn't mention their names.
You know, sometimes people even call me, bro. I was listening to you. Know why didn't you mention my name? You know. But I've worked with quite a few. Like
who likes the craziest hairstyles?
Mario Balotelli.
Balotelli.
Yes. Mario was
Why am I not surprised?
You know, Mario always loved like crazy hairstyles, and you know, with his character, it suits him. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Samajan?
Samajan also loves crazy hairstyle, but his hairstyle is not as crazy as Mario, you know? Yeah. Samajan doesn't really want much. He just wants you to have his 3 there, which is his, you know, his number and his heart. So once you put a 3 there, the rest is showcase.
In 10 seconds, how do you put a 3 there? Is it just you spraying a hair dye on the hair?
No, but barbing also is good when you know art already.
Okay.
And then you try to combine the art side of it and the clipper.
Okay.
So it's easy. Like if you know what you're doing, writing 3 with pen on a paper is equally doing it with scissors. No, clippers.
Okay.
Yeah, or razors.
One chap in football that looks like Denzel Washington is Chris Hutton. A very fine gentleman. You shave his head, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I do.
And how did you land that job as well?
I didn't, you know. I didn't learn it.
On our screens now, you know, he's departed
Oh
us.
my God, I got goosebumps. Look.
Yeah. But yeah, you've worked with Achu as well.
Achu is a serious soul, you know.
Yeah.
Beautiful soul. You know. And it hurts me that when he was getting buried, I couldn't make it to Ghana. I mean, to his funeral. Is the only guy that cut his hair, and he held my hand. He said he's not paying for his haircut. Now I wasn't shocked because I was feeling something in my hand. So when he said I'm not paying for my haircut, I was supposed to say why he not paying, but because he held my hand and I knew that there was something in his hand. He said, I'm sewing into you. He gave me tears.
Wow.
And after he left, because obviously there are people around, so I couldn't, you know, open it. And so when he left, and then I opened my hand, I'm like, tears dropping.
How much was it?
May so rest in peace, man.
Yeah. You just got very emotional. Yeah. I can tell. You just got very emotional.
It's a beautiful guy, man.
Yeah, so everybody says. Anyone that's encountered Christian Achu, you know, has beautiful things to say about him. May he so rest in perfect peace. I think that the Achu picture just, you know, changed the dynamics of the conversation. But a number of, you know, key players you've worked with. Are you close to the Arsenal players?
Yes, quite a few.
Okay. Through Partey or before Partey?
Through Partey. No, before Partey, I was, you know, when Welbeck was in.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got close to a couple of them. And then Partey made him more.
And then there was Nketiah as well.
Yeah, Nketiah. Nketiah is more like a family, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And crazy enough, like some of the players, we just go, when you cut their hair, they were like, what do you think you can do to this? Like they share some personal things with you, and we all share ideas together, you know, which they hardly do to people. So that comes back again to tell you that the barbering, as a barber, you play a major role. You
know. So what would you say to the local barbers that we have here? How can they improve their branding? Not just to get into the football sector. You're conquering that already. But I mean, if they have any dream of getting, you know, to any of these other high profile, you know, space, what would you say to them? How can they get there?
There are a few things that I would like to highlight when it comes to like the barbering in Ghana. You know, back in the days when I was in Ghana, I didn't know barbering was that really, really important. You know, people don't rate barbers. I remember one time we went somewhere with like my family, and then my auntie has two and three kids.
Okay.
One girl and two boys.
Okay.
And one of them was an engineer. The next one was a pilot who was trying to be a pilot. Trying to be a pilot. He's not a pilot. So trying to be a pilot.
Okay.
And the other one was a doctor. So, like in the conversation, they asked what do you do now? And then everybody keeps saying. So when he got to my turn, I said, I want to be a. No, I didn't say I want to be, but I said I'm gonna be. Remember this time, I wasn't cutting no one's hair yet. I said I'm gonna be one of the biggest barbers ever.
Okay.
And that time I wasn't cutting no one's hair. But for some reason I have a feeling that I can.
You had that edge.
Yes, I can cut hair. Until one time, someone challenged me.
Okay.
He went to a barber shop. This is how everything started. He went to a barber shop, and he didn't get a good haircut. So
on our screens now, it's just you and Chris Huting. Sorry to cut you though, but yeah, you guys seem like fun. And that's our own Kofiche.
Kofiche, yes.
You spend time with him as well. Thomas Partey.
Lovely guy. This guy is a character.
He's a character, huh?
Trust me.
What kind of character?
I mean, lovely guy.
Really?
Very, very
Thomas
lovely.
Partey.
Very, very lovely guy.
That's a different thing I'm hearing to what a few people say about him.
No, sometimes the players, you have to get close to them, you know. And I don't also blame them so much because, you know, a lot of people take advantage when they get close to them.
Okay.
You know, by the time you realize, oh, can I get a T-shirt? They give T-shirt. Oh, can you borrow me money? I hear that every time.
Do you have shirts from all the people, all the players you've shaved?
Almost
all of them.
Almost.
You have a catalog.
I have 2 suitcases
of shirts,
yes.
Of football shirts.
Yes.
Wow.
And the biggest one is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Whoa.
Yes. I didn't shave his hair, but it was my birthday, and you know, as you know,
I'm not seeing it well.
Inyanya. It's Inyanya.
That's Inyanya.
Yeah.
Oh, Inyanya has been trending for some time now.
Problem.
So the next time you speak to him, ask him what he's reacting to.
Let's call him now.
But yeah,
I'm sure he will say he's not Inyanya. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. So, Eric Bailly, being a good friend of mine, he called me. He knew it was my birthday.
Eric Bailly of Man United.
Yes. And this is what happened.
You've worked with him too?
Yes.
Oh.
It's a good, he's actually a good friend of mine. On that very day, because of my birthday, I went on the street in London and I said, you know what? Instead of me waiting for people to give me a gift, let me go on the street and give people a gift.
Okay.
So I went on the street and I was kind of homeless people. There's a particular place in the central London that there's a whole lot of homeless people.
Okay.
So I went there with my crew and we started cutting everybody's hair, and we went live.
Oh, really?
Yes, we went live. We were cutting everybody's hair on my birthday, and people were just applauding and people were just appreciating. And so randomly I got a text, "Hey, Nicky, where are you?" I look, it's Eric Bailly. It said, "Come to Rosewood Hotel now." Rosewood Hotel is a big hotel. That's where all the top. Then I realized that no, Manu is playing tomorrow in London.
Yeah.
So I have to leave my guys, go home, shower, boom, went to the place. I got there and he said, "Cristiano Ronaldo want to send a shirt to you."
Wow.
Like, you're lying.
Wow.
I was shocked. He said, "You're watching me." I was so shocked. So, yeah.
Wow. Did you meet him though?
No.
But you got.
It was what do you call it?
A signed shirt.
No. It was finger time. You know how this virus that came.
Oh, coronavirus.
Coronavirus time.
So the COVID time.
There was a big restriction.
Yeah.
But they managed to put me through.
Wow.
Yeah, it was big. I couldn't I can see him, but I couldn't get close. You know, and he signed and said, "Come out." And
wow. You must have been really excited.
I wanted to meet him so bad, but
you say you've been coming to Ghana a lot though. But why are you here this time?
Okay, so this time I came with Memphis. I came not with Memphis.
Another footballer. Memphis
Depay.
Okay.
He's got a foundation that You know, every year, like in June, he comes to give back to the school of deaf blind in Cape Coast. So back a couple of times I've given back to society, and you've seen my video. And so when I heard that he went there a year before, when I heard that he goes there, I'm like, okay, it's cool. Yeah, and they only give them like clothes, like gifts.
Sports Ultra.
So I kind of like reach out to his PA, and I said to him that, if you guys do this already, normally I go to what do you call it, homes, and I cut the kids' hair. If you don't mind, I don't mind jumping on board, because I have to reach out to him to tell him that, because I really feel like I can support him to do that. So the first year, which is last year, I went out of my way to come and support him. So when I came, I called other barbers, like 30 barbers. I invited them, and I'm like, this is what's happening. So anyone that want to give freely, or anyone that is ready to cut this kid's hair for free, you can jump on board. Let's get this done. And I had quite a number of barbers came with me. We went, executed that nicely. But this time around, he called me and said, listen, I'm paying for everything.
Wow.
You have to come down.
Wow.
So I have to give up my details, and that's what.
So he sponsored this trip and got you down.
Everything.
So you guys continue.
Even my coming here, he sponsored it.
Oh, really? Even to the studio? Is this still in town, though?
Yeah, it's in town.
Okay, regards to you. Shouts to you, Memphis, if you're listening.
Yeah.
And, I think that it's been a great conversation with you, Nikki. And, of course, for the good cause that you embarked on the last couple of days, in the Central region.
Yes.
Giving back to society. I mean, you're not the richest barber, I think. You're not the richest man in the world. No. But with the little that God has given you, you think, to give back. And that definitely is a good heart, and we support it great time. Anytime you are in Ghana, though, you can reach out to us, and, any help that we can give on any of your good benevolent causes, we definitely would, supply resources to that. And I think that it's been a great conversation with you, getting into everything around barbering footballers and spending time with sportsmen. I think that it's been great. And a lot of people would like to be in your shoes, not just because you spend time with these people, but because also, for us men, it's a great thing to
look good,
give your head to someone, to trust someone with your head.
100%.
Because trust me, you come out of the barbering shop and
your hairline
there's a split second between when the barber says I'm done and when you look in the mirror, and you're like, did he do what I want?
One side of the hairline will be looking like and.
But Nicky, have you had an experience like that before, where someone wasn't satisfied?
Yes, there was a time where a guy that normally cut his hair bald. He come in, he like bald.
Yeah.
And like, let's say after 6 months, I haven't seen this guy. So because I knew exactly what I do normally,
you just
sat down and I went straight. I said, "Whoa, what have you done?"
And at the time, the first blade had gone.
It's gone. And he start crying like a baby. He's a big man, He start crying. I'm like, he said it's performing, and he left his hair for a reason. I'm like,
no.
You didn't tell me. I was doing my regular. He cried like a baby, no joke.
You had to continue shaving.
I have to, because that's like anytime he sit down before, he was like, you know what to do, boom, and he would sleep. He likes sleeping because anytime you go on the seat, he's tired, it's gone.
Wow.
But it's just unfortunate.
I don't know what I would have done in his shoes, to be honest.
I managed to do his hair, and then I told him that I'm gonna let him go for free. I'm not charging him, but it's just unfortunate. And I apologized to him, and I gave him his next haircut again for free.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's it. From that time till now, any soul that sit on my chair, I have to pick up the clippers and I ask you, what do you want?
You learn the lessons the hard way. Yeah, any more questions for him?
Oh, no, I mean,
okay.
I'm cool.
All right. But yeah, like I said, it's been a great conversation with you, Nikki. A pleasure having you in our studios.
Yes.
We've never had a barber come through our show before, ever, for no reason. But simply because of your experience with footballers and the time you spent with them. It definitely makes a great conversation. And thank you very much for honoring the invitation. And we definitely will spend more time with you after the show, so don't go anywhere.
This is 3Sports, the best sports team in the country. Get interactive with us across all social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3SportsGH.
We will be continuing the conversation and we'll be getting straight into transfers in just a bit. Today we'll buy a bit of time. We'll buy maybe some 10 more minutes, and then we can get into some more transfer, discussions right here on Sports Ultras. We've postponed and we've not had, detailed conversations on the transfers so much. But Arsenal, for example, are set to complete a deal for Declan Rice. There's also the timber from the forest. He's here to break legs. And then, Kai Havertz has also joined. Now, actually, the highest earner at Arsenal at £330,000 a week. Yeah. Every Monday, that's that. When he hears the alert. When you hear alert, what do you see? You see Momo, you see MTN saying that happy the other. People hear alerts and it's £330,000. Hey, every Monday, or whenever he's been agreed to pay. We'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at how Mason Mount also sealed his deal to Manchester United, and of course getting into the head of a Manchester United fan and how he feels about that deal. We'll be looking at Chelsea and just what it means for them, to seal the deal for Caicedo, because it looks like coast clear for the Caicedo deal. I'm talking about how Manchester City have signed Kovacic, how Mason Mount has moved to Manchester United, how Arsenal are moving closer to Declan Rice. That paves the way for for Caicedo to move to Chelsea. But would he? Or Lavia, you're hearing £50 million. There's a lot of talk about Tottenham Hotspur as well. So let's just get into it. And I'll start with you. When you look at the transfers.
Yeah, I think that, some of the transfers have been incredibly shocking. I think that if anybody had told me that Kai Havertz would have moved to Arsenal, I would have doubted it heavily. And it just tells me that Mikel Arteta knows what he wants. I mean, for the season that Havertz had last season, you wouldn't expect that any team would want Kai Havertz or anything. But I think that Arteta knows what he wants. He knows that.
So I think our man is bowing out, and so
Kelvin, just take over and let me just.
Well, I think Thierry, you look at the current market prices, and then you ask yourself, why are players taking this huge amounts? But it's also because they've also gained their purchasing powers, and then you feel like, no, the clubs are making so much out of us. The commercial value that a club may probably get out of this would be astronomical, and they, especially for the British lads, they've just realized that more money making is into the system. You cannot blame Declan Rice. This is arguably one of his best times, and if you listen to his life story, he was nearly rejected by West Ham when he was progressing from the youth team. It got to a point that these players in the youth team have what we call scholarship, and then when you get to 18, you have a professional contract that you can sign at 17 or 18. But he wasn't having any professional contract, which meant that after 18, he had to leave, just like it happens at Wafa and some of the youth development clubs. So he actually fought his way into becoming one of the very best, for West Ham to trust him that once he got 18, he had 1 year as a professional, and then later he had 2 years to make that progression. So just knowing what happened to Jack Wilshere, just knowing what happened to some of the brilliant, enterprising talents that we saw, this is his moment. He needs to cash out, and I don't blame the players at all, because you look at some players taking some huge salaries or wages, and at the end of the day cannot provide anything. This is his time. England's top midfielder, and then also West Ham's top midfielder, who's captained them to win a European title, the maiden edition of the Conference League, and he managed to win it with West Ham United.
Does he become captain of Arsenal when he joins?
No, he's not.
Odegaard
he's not. Odegaard continues to become captain.
And who is deputy?
Arsenal's deputy. I think it's in the defense. I'm still wondering, because
but I think there's still Jorginho.
Granit Xhaka was the deputy captain, but he's
Jorginho is a leader too, isn't he?
Well, he's a leader, but I'm not sure he's going to go to him. He's going to.
No, I'm not saying he goes to him. I'm saying the pecking order.
Well, yes, Jorginho is also a leader, and I think it's good when you have leaders in the team, especially players who want to fight for the good of a football
What would
club.
you say the Arsenal midfield pivot would be, if it's a pivot or if it's a midfield three?
If it's a midfield three, you go for Kai Havertz, you go for Declan Rice, you go for Martin Odegaard.
So Havertz plays as a midfielder?
Yeah.
Not as a striker?
Exactly. For me, I think he's best for how visionary he is. He was being wasted up front by Chelsea and then even Germany, because players like that, they find it very difficult, because they need that space and time to think, and then have that vision to make that incisive pass. But if you put them just at the front, it becomes difficult for you to take advantage and then enjoy how clinical or brilliant they are. Someone like Havertz plays like Mesut Ozil. You cannot play Ozil like a false nine and expect the very best from him.
So Havertz and Odegaard become your creators?
Yes.
From midfield?
Yes. The point is...
Isn't that a weak midfield?
The point is they are going to work a lot more with
But isn't that a weak midfield? I'm talking about getting the ball back.
It could also play to the advantage of Arsenal.
On the front foot?
Yes. Because if you have a lot...
Because I'm looking at Bukayo Saka on the wings, and I'm looking at whoever plays on the other wing.
Martinelli.
And they are not your strongest guys.
They are
out of possession.
They are
really.
They are. Yeah. If you look
Odegaard and Havertz, you not complain later in the course of the season.
Maybe Havertz is not defensively aware.
I think he puts a lot of defensive.
For Gabriel Martinelli, he puts in a lot of defensive shifts. And let's not forget that Bukayo Saka, with his training from left back, has even adapted to playing more or helping his defensive line. I am thinking this season Arsenal are going to have more defensive-minded players at the rear and then allow the attackers to focus. If you look at last season, Ben White only comes forward when Bukayo Saka is really struggling, and Ben White wouldn't mind staying at the back as a right back, which means you have your four men intact. The only problem may come from the left-hand side, where if Zinchenko is playing, he will move upfield. But if Arteta is going to stick to Kieran Tierney, I don't think Arsenal should have any problems with that sort of midfield that Arsenal has. And even if you look at West Ham and how Declan Rice was playing, they had a very fluid midfield where they did not have too many combative players. It was just him running across as his box-to-box midfielder. So I shouldn't think there should be a problem. Arteta knows what he has.
So what your 11 would be
well, Ben White,
and that's the last thing.
Yeah, Ben White. I think Tierney at left back. You have Saliba, and then that is Gabriel Magalhaes. You have Declan Rice in midfield. Not Jorginho, Kai Havertz, and then Martin Odegaard up front. You have Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and then Gabriel Martinelli.
And that leaves Partey and Jorginho on the bench.
Yes,
that's a
please.
very strong bench.
Yes,
that's a very strong.
Yes,
bench. You're gunning for the title.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Oreku, that's a lot said about Arsenal. Let's talk about Chelsea.
Well,
or you wanted to have a word on Arsenal?
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think
So let's move to your club, Chelsea. So there's Nkunku now. Okay, let's talk about the exits, because at the moment, looks like the exits are the most talked about than even the incomings or those who are staying. And I'm looking at Kovacic, who is left, sealed deals. I mean, Kovacic, who is left, Kante has left, Mason Mount has left, and these are on a given day 3 starters in Chelsea's midfield. Jorginho left before, but that's almost the identity of Chelsea in the last 4 years gone, or 5 years gone. Then you have Kai Havertz up front gone. You have Koulibaly gone. Azpilicueta, we hear, is leaving officially, that he's joining Atletico Madrid. There's Inter in the picture as well. Edouard Mendy has left. Ziyech should have left, but I don't know of any more unlucky player like him. But it's looking likely that he would leave as well at some point in the summer. What is going to be the makeup of Chelsea, considering Nkunku has joined, Mudryk stays, Sterling stays, Lukaku and Aubameyang, we don't know what their fate would be, but there is the new chap Jackson. In defense, you have Badiashile, you have Thiago Silva, you have Trevor Chalobah, and then there is Fofana.
Colwell too.
Then there is Colwell.
Yeah.
Talk about Colwell. He doesn't want to sign a new contract. And then there is Cucurella. There is Ben Chilwell. On the right-hand side, there is Reece James. A lot of people have forgotten that Chelsea signed a right full-back from Lyon.
Malo Gusto.
Gusto. So, and there's Kepa, but it looks like Chelsea have to buy a backup goalkeeper. But in this case, what is Chelsea going to look like under Pochettino?
Well, I think this was expected in the early part of the summer, given the activity that the Blues had in the winter transfer window, where they signed close to 8-10 players. It was only right that they let go of a lot of players, given the huge squad size that they had as a result of their businesses during the January transfer window. And so I'm not surprised that they're trying to move away from a number of players in the early part of the window. I just think the issue now becomes the real depth of Chelsea, because if you're letting guys like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, and all these players go.
Oh, I actually forgot about Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, for instance, Loftus-Cheek is a player who doesn't mind playing 15-20 games a season. I feel
but there's Chukwuemeka,
Well,
so
yeah,
you have a lot of the fringe players still.
But I just
such a big squad.
I just think it's they've traded out a lot of experience, and are going to bank on a lot of youth, because remember Madueke is still in his first year in England. Mudryk same. Jackson is now going to experience his first year in England.
Nkunku same.
And Nkunku too. So that's your front four of foreigners.
Enzo has just had 6 months.
Who are just settling. And so you look into that team and you're asking, who is going to help who settle where exactly?
Maybe Sterling.
Maybe Sterling. But I just think for a team to be really successful, especially in the English Premier League, you need experience and leadership in every area of the pitch, from your defense to your midfield through to your attack. And the Chelsea that I saw from last season lacked character, and usually that can be associated with a lack of leadership. And so, I just feel we're signing too many young players, and I would have preferred some more established names who come in and know that from the onset they need to deliver. So, for instance, if you're signing someone like Osimhen instead of Jackson, Osimhen comes in knowing that my first season I need at least 20 goals.
Yeah, but because of the profile. Yeah,
Jackson, everyone knows, young striker, just had his first season in La Liga, and so there isn't that real expectation. And sometimes that could play down on the team and the players, because pressure pushes these players to set high standards for themselves. And that's why I think the team is lacking at the moment. But it's a fair reflection of the whole Chelsea team and the whole project I think the owners have thrown their arms up in the air with the activities that we've seen so far and said that we got it wrong and we want a fresh start. And so I assume this would require time, it would require patience, and then a new coach for him to settle and all that.
Yeah.
So I think for the first time in a long time, Chelsea fans would have to be patient with the manager.
Have to be patient, but there's Andre Santos. Is that a name?
Yeah,
the Brazil
from Brazil,
chap. Very
yeah.
high profile, very, very highly rated.
Yeah.
But nobody knows what a Chelsea makeup will look like.
I think there's even Casadei from the
there's
under
Casadei
20
as well.
World Cup. Yeah, so many young players. That's the thing.
The thinking was Chelsea we're buying these players for the future, but it looks as if they are banking their hopes on them like immediately.
The future came
because
sooner than
because
expected,
the lineup, the starting lineup could look like Jackson up front, Modric on the left,
Yeah.
Madueke on the right,
Yeah.
Nkunku in the number 10 row,
Yeah.
Enzo creating from deep.
Yeah.
I think-
Likely Caicedo.
Likely Caicedo. There's been talk about Enzo and Andre Santos as well, partnering. That is if Caicedo does not move into Chelsea. At the back, maybe Thiago Silva will be partnering with Fofana. Chilwell could benefit from an early start. Maybe Reece James starting if he overcomes his injury very early. If not, it's Gusto, and there's Kepa. Do you think this team? Do you think they can do the job for Chelsea, considering the standards of Chelsea?
A lot will depend on that front four and how
Nkunku,
quickly.
Mudryk, Madueke, Jackson.
Yeah, I think a lot will depend on that front four and how quickly they settle. Because if you look at the underlying numbers from last season, although Chelsea were overall bad, their defense was actually relatively good.
Okay.
They were
Considering
in
either
the top
one or
8.
nothing.
Yeah, they were in the top 8 defenses in the league in terms of clean sheets, shots faced, and chances faced and all that. So that in that area, I think Chelsea are fine. And getting a profile like Caicedo would only make that better. Chelsea's problem from last season was profligacy in front of goal, and the lack of creating consistent chances at the latter part of the season.
Isn't that why Lukaku's deal should have been wrapped up by now, and then Chelsea know what the way forward would be? I mean, you have a very highly rated attacker in your ranks who doesn't want to stay, who wants to go back to Inter Milan. You want to move him on. He doesn't. The place you want to take him to, that's Saudi. He doesn't want to go. Inter don't have the money to pay what the Saudis would have paid. Where are Chelsea now with that? Because the earlier you wrap that up, the earlier you know if you need to fill that slot, who you can bring in based on how much you've rigged him from his transfer. Considering he also has just 1 year on his deal. Yeah. Inter wants him back on a loan deal. It's just such a mess.
Well, I think Chelsea would have to cut their losses on Lukaku, and that's the unfortunate truth that the club has to face. There's no way they are going to get back that 90 million that 90 plus million that they spent on the Belgian striker.
Obviously not.
And so for the thing with Inter Milan is that they don't have a lot of cash up front. Only recently got a shirt sponsor in Paramount for the latter part of the season, and so they're struggling financially, and are even looking to sell Onana to balance their books. And so Lukaku, I think he's not a priority because they just got Thuram. That's Thuram, who can play as a striker from the Bundesliga. He came on a free, and then remember they also have Lautaro Martinez. Yeah. And then I think they have quite a. Dzeko has left, but I do expect to see more minutes for. Correa, the Argentine too as well, who didn't get a lot of minutes from last season. But I just think in the end, Inter Milan is the ideal destination for Lukaku. I think across Europe, no one really would trust him again to pay the amount of wages that he would demand, and clubs have moved on from him. I don't think anyone would want to give him a third, fourth chance in the highest level of football in Europe. So I think Inter is the ideal destination. They'll probably play hardball knowing that there's no other option for Lukaku, and would want to structure the deal in a way that will benefit them by probably saying they'll pay in 2 years or 3 years and all that. But Chelsea will definitely have to cut their losses on Lukaku.
Okay, let me just bring you into the conversation of transfers. Man United, you have Varane, you have Lisandro Martinez, you have Dalot, you have you have Bruno Fernandes, you have Casemiro, you have Rashford, you have Sancho, who I hear you want to move on so badly. Malasia. I mean, it's such a wholesome squad.
Number one, I have said it here many times. I don't think Eric Ten Hag's talent identification is A1. It's not. And I mean, he brought in 5 players. I think
Martinez been a shining light.
Martinez
and Casemiro.
I mean, if you bring Casemiro, you'd expect a Casemiro performance. I mean, if Moyes could have bought Casemiro and Casemiro would have played,
but Schweinsteiger didn't.
You see, the thing is that there's a difference between the two. Schweinsteiger at the time he came to United was way off than Casemiro. So any coach could have brought in Casemiro and he would have done the job. So Lisandro Martinez, yes, good player, but Malasia, Anthony, all of them have not been good, and I think that it's on him now. Now, number 2, he says he wants Mason Mount.
He's gotten him.
He's gone all out for Mason Mount, and we're just hoping to see what Mason Mount brings to the table.
What will your midfield look like with Mount in there?
I think that from reports, United wants to move on from Fred. So if they are moving on from Fred, then it means Mason Mount comes in, and it will look similar to what Arsenal has, just because Arsenal would have to start Havertz and Odegaard. It's the same thing. United will have to start Mount and Bruno, 2 very attacking midfielders.
That leaves Casemiro behind them.
And that leaves Casemiro behind them, which I don't know how it's going to play out next season. But the thing is that United just have to do good business on the markets, and they've not shown that they can do good business on the market.
You mean selling or buying?
Both selling and buying in both areas.
Who has to go?
I think that at this point, United have to move on from a player like Sancho, because he has not given the club what they wanted. The thing is, you sign Sancho for over 70 million. If you want to sell him now, you could sell him for about 40, which would be a huge loss, but it will be good eventually for the club, because then the club can now look out for someone who can actually play that role. You understand? And the shocking thing about United is that because we don't sell too well, David Beckham's transfer fee to Real Madrid, which was in 2003, is still 3rd on United's selling lists in the last 25 years. Since 2003. He's 3rd on that transfer list, and we sold him for 25 million. So all the players exactly. So
that makes it Ronaldo, I guess.
It makes it Ronaldo. There's someone in between there. That I don't think Van Nistelrooy is in that bracket, but it's Ronaldo, and then there's someone in there before Beckham. And that Beckham transfer still has a place in the top 3, which means that United have not sold particularly well. And so imagine a player like Martial is someone that United...
Why is he still at the club?
Exactly. and that's the question. You see, so these are all problems. Another thing is that someone like Mason Mount comes to United, and then his salary jumps from 80,000 to 250,000. And then you just ask yourself...
Way above what Chelsea had agreed with him earlier. Anyway.
Who makes these negotiations? Because let's say Mason Mount doesn't do well at United in 1 season or 2 seasons.
And that becomes a big burden on your budget.
How do you move him on?
Yeah.
You understand? And those are the problems. And it looks like it has not changed at United. And that's why I keep telling United fans that United are still way off the mark. United are not going to get better soon if things do not change at the top. The thing is, the Qataris can buy United, but if these guys are still handling United, it still will not get to where United fans wanted to get to.
What I feel though is I don't understand why Man United have been so slow with the transition of the purchase and acquisition, because that seems to be holding United back. Nothing is happening because the owners, the current owners, aren't ready to commit. The new owners are waiting to spend, and there's nothing happening. Until that happens, things like De Gea will keep happening.
So it tells you how bad the structure is at United. Nothing moves fast. And even the ownership has not moved fast. When Todd Boehly wanted to buy Chelsea, how many days did it take? It didn't take so long. FSG acquired Liverpool within days. Leeds United have a new owner. Everton did it with Fahad Moshiri and many other people. It gets to United's turn, and it's been months. And the ownership thing has still not gotten.
And it's because they are divided. The family is divided.
And I'm saying that United could become the new PSG if the Qataris still acquire United and leave these guys at the top, leave them there to do what they like, because they clearly do not know what they are doing. United is looking for a goalkeeper on the transfer market, and look at how long and winding it has been. now they are trying to look for another striker. It is also another long and winding thing. The thing is, United are going into another season without any form of hope. The thing is that the only hope at the club now is Erik ten Hag, that he could do something with these players that they have. But I don't think that is going to work out. I think that is going to be another season of disappointments for Manchester United. And that's what United fans need to acclimatize themselves with now, because it is a place where the club is at the moment. And it's not going to change.
You're not ready to conquer England.
No, it's not going to change if a lot of the things do not change. You understand? And that's just what it is. I know a lot of people are seeking solace from, we've signed Mount, let's just, maybe he will come and try. But we are not. This is not time for maybes. You understand? If you are signing somebody, you are signing someone.
Mount is a maybe.
Yeah, it's a maybe. You're not too sure if Mount is going to give you
2 years ago Mount or last season Mount.
No, whatever Mount. I mean, no, I'm serious. The 2 years the 2 years ago Mount is what Lingard gave us in 17-18. Okay. If we are being honest with ourselves, you understand. And so if that is the Mount that we are buying, then I don't see how United would move.
You mean you don't get any better? You've seen it before.
Exactly. We don't get any better from buying someone like Mount.
Maybe it's a step. Maybe from here you get a very seasoned striker.
Like who?
Who augments Mount.
Like who? We are not spending 150 to buy Kane.
No.
Or we are not spending 150 to buy Osimhen.
And again,
so then
I'll bring Prosper into the conversation. Prosper, I still struggle to see why and how Man United have not joined the race for Harry Kane. He's English. He wants to break the record in England. He has an ambition to win titles. Man United is a better place with better chance to win titles. How is Man United still sitting and watching foreign clubs just come around Harry Kane, and the most successful English club, not doing anything about it? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I think we have just about 2 minutes to go, because the pressure I'm getting from the control room, everybody's just looking at me, shouting, screaming, opening their mouths, ready to swallow us. So 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, it doesn't, but I think it has to do with the ownership, like we have said. Okay. And even if the turnover happens, I mean, Erik ten Hag last season was on a tightening rope. He had to make sure that he could produce results in terms of establishing his philosophy or identity on this Manchester United team. It was obviously going to take time, and getting the right signings was going to help him do it. He hasn't had that to be able to implement what he wanted to do or has to do to take United to the next level. For Harry Kane, I think the decision lies with him, and in relation to what move would he want to, because he was linked to Real Madrid. I think right now for Madrid, your priorities are different. But whether you want to stay and break that transfer record, I think he was linked to Man City a couple of seasons ago. He could have been a treble winner by now, but actually he isn't. Do you stay? It depends on Kane and what it means to him. Do you stay at Tottenham, win them a trophy they haven't won in a long time, break the Premier League record, or do you make the move? But if he moves to Man United, if that were the case, he could still break the record and have himself some trophies. So I think it depends on him. But for United, I think the ownership and then decisions taken around the club has really, really affected the club to where they are today. And if they want to compete in Europe or compete wherever they find themselves, they have to take some really tough decisions.
All right, so we are just obviously way beyond closing time. So now the day is over. And thank you very much for joining us, everyone who did. Of course, a big thank you to those who joined us from Morocco. That's Faisal Chipsai and then Frederick Champong. And also for those who joined us here in Ghana, my guys in the studio, a big thank you. And a big thank you to the listeners as well. We'll catch you same time next week. This has been Sport Ultras, and we'll bring you more subsequently right here on 3FM. My name is Thierry Winyan. I've been here with Yafo Sulabi, Prosper, who joined us very late on, but Kelvin, Aniela, and then Oreku were in studio. Of course, we spent time with Nikki Ochre, the celebrity Baba in the UK, who spends time with footballers for a living. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll catch you same time next week. For now, we are entering the spiritual world.